I'm going to talk to you about two-colour brioche knitting. This online workshop has been created from a workshop that I have been doing in person with real people in the room with me. Because I can't get out at the minute because we're in lockdown or whatever it is we're in, I've put the workshop into this online version. So you've got the activities that we would do on the day, the little swatches that we would make, and you've also got the pattern that you would normally take away with you from the workshop, and there are also some videos to go with that to help you as you progress through and make your cowl. But a lot of people, when they come to the workshop, they don't really know what it is that they're coming to, so I thought I'd do a little bit of a quick video and show you some bits of two-colour brioche knitting and what it's all about. So when you're doing brioche knitting, you are basically making a rib, but you're going to end up with a double thickness because you're always working with two strands of yarn. So you can just do it just like that in a straight rib with two colours. Can you see there's a grey and there's a pink? And then you get a reversible fabric. It's easy to see it on this one actually. So I've got two colours going on here, and on the other side it looks like that. But what you can then do is you can start doing manipulating the stitches and making them move around. So can you see? This is a cowl. So on this one you've got some waves going on. So that's one side. And that's the other side. So a couple of years ago I decided I was going to learn this technique. And there's a lady called Nancy Marchant who's done loads of work standardising all the abbreviations and the terminology that people use. This book here, Knitting Fresh Brioche it's called, and it's got all sorts of different stitches that shows you all the different things that you can do once you've learned how to do it, and you can start making the stitches move about. I did when I'd learnt to do it. So first of all I knitted this, which I used one of the West Yorkshire Spinners yarns that they don't make anymore. They only make a sock yarn now, but this was a double knitting. So I used that on for one side in the blue tit colour, and then on the other side I had just a plain blue. So makes a nice scarf. Can you see it? Nice scarf, fabulous. It just looks amazing. It's quite difficult to get to grips with it, but once you've got to grips with it, it's really worthwhile because there's all sorts of things you can do. So like I said, it was a couple of years ago I learnt to do it. The first thing that I did was I had to play about with some of the stitches in the book. So I made a few little samples of some of the stitches that she's got in the book. So you can use these just to make, mainly making shawls and scarves and things like that. A lot of these are a bit samey because I started messing about with it. That's quite a nice simple one. I started playing about with the stitches, so we ended up, so this was what I started then designing this cowl. And what we ended up with was this. So you can have it like that. So that is 2 yarns where there's quite a strong contrast. But I also did it in a more subtle colourway. It's quite a nice one. So this, you get the pattern for this with the workshop. I've created this workshop and this cowl so that you can learn the techniques. Once you've learnt the techniques, there are a lot of patterns out there that other people have written. There's loads of patterns in that book. I want to knit them all. And this was why I wanted to learn brioche knitting, because I wanted to be able to make something like this. So once you've learnt the techniques, you can create all sorts of things. So this is my special thing. So it's called Sizzle Pop, this design. It's called Sizzle Pop and it's by Knit Graffiti Designs. And it's on Ravelry. So it's Sizzle Pop. If you go on Ravelry and search for Sizzle Pop by Knit Graffiti, you'll find it. And there's a pattern for a bigger shawl as well, which I'd quite like to do. So hopefully that's given you some idea of the kind of things that you can make once you've learned the techniques that are involved in 2-colour brioche knitting. This workshop is going to help you get going with that, and then there's lots of inspiration out there for you to look at. Go on Pinterest, search for brioche knitting, you'll find loads. Go on Ravelry, you'll find loads of patterns on there. There's books like the one I've shown you, and there's just a multitude of things that you will be able to do that you weren't able to do before you learnt how to do it. So I do hope you'll enjoy the workshop. It's quite challenging, but it's very much worthwhile giving it a go. See you soon.